Unreal for the past couple seasons, then this is the perfect video for you, as I'm going to be analyzing a 16 kill win and showing you guys how you can start dominating ranked lobbies. I'm also going to show the enemy's POV and tell you how to avoid the mistakes that they made. First of all, if you want to win more ranked games, then we need to have low ping, and if you can't afford a new router or internet provider, then you can use a cheaper alternative called exit lag. You guys know I wouldn't recommend something if it didn't actually work, but exit lag uses AI optimizations to find the best routes for the best connection possible. And that's how I was able to go from around 45 ping on Central to less than 10. All you need to do is click the link in the description, select the annual plan that's 50% off, and create an account. Then download the app. Once you open the app, find Fortnite and click Optimize Game. What this is going to do is that it will use its advanced AI optimizations to find the quickest and most efficient routes to give you the best connection. Once that's done, hop in the game and see the magic in real time. Exit lag settings should be pre-optimized, but you can also use my settings if you wanted to. The best part about this is that you can use exit lag for over 2,000 other games, and it comes with an FPS boost where you can select the best PC optimizations for higher FPS. So if you actually want to improve and get low ping and free FPS, then click the link in the description for 50% off right now. The first step to winning more ranked games is getting the best drop out of everyone else that's going to your spot. Getting a bad drop might cost you your whole game just because you couldn't get it going off spawn and someone else just beamed you out of the air. So if you do get a bad drop, then you have to choose whether or not you want to get beamed out of the air and die, or if you have to back off and go to a different location instead. If you want to find a good drop spot, then make sure that it has multiple barrels, multiple chests, bunch of mats, and make sure there's less than 2 people landing there. One thing you should know is that you don't even have to fight an early game or mid game to rank up. Just focus on having enough resources for endgame. So before you get into your first fight, make sure that you have full shield, a shotgun, and a mask or a sword. As soon as you have a good loadout, just make sure you start to push people who are next to you for the easy kill. And even though Lozix takes damage here, he doesn't switch to defensive mode yet. He still tries to go for counter damage, and now he can back off. This fight shows the importance of getting counter damage and not being scared to just keep fighting even after taking damage. Because after the Renegade gets a hit on him, he decides to go for 50-50, which the Renegade was not expecting, which caused him to die. This fight could have been better, and he could have taken less damage, but it was unpredictable, so it worked. This next fight shows how to diagonal box fight properly. It's okay to double swing if your opponent isn't on the wall that you're swinging at, but in this case he uses a right hand peek to double swing and it works. As you can see from the other player's POV, it was really protected and he couldn't even see Lozix. And after Lozix took his wall, he should have immediately made the cone a ramp so that he could get out. In this next fight, Lozix almost gets cracked, but the other guy makes the mistake of not applying immediate pressure after getting damage on him. So because he took so long to teleport, Lozix was able to heal up and catch him off guard. When you get a hit on someone, never let them heal. Just always apply constant pressure and make sure that you get the kill. And what this guy could have done better was not to just swing at a random wall and also not put a cone over his head. So once you survive early game, you want to take it easy and slow and make sure that you don't find anyone else to fight, because you're probably going to be low on mats and other resources after fighting so many people. But in this game, he's pushing everyone he sees, so in this fight, it actually goes on for a little while, and this is the first actual good player that he fights. This player is more defensive, so Lozix is going to go for angles here and try to get some damage off. And notice how he swung once on the way down and then swung again, so that he doesn't have to double swing on the same layer. And after landing a hit with a shotgun, he's now playing really aggressive and also trying to bait the opponent into editing the wall, which is one thing that you're going to notice a lot in this video. And here he does the same thing again, except this time he places a stair in his box because he saw there was nothing there. And that caused the other guy to edit down on accident and die. Now it's mid game and he gets some opening damage and immediately pushes, which is something that you should do as soon as you get opening damage. Then watch how he perfectly pieces his opponent. And after getting the first shot off, he resets, then adds the next wall instead of shooting again. After getting full piece, this guy starts to panic and start missing all of his shots. And you guys tell me how this guy was able to get into champ. But if sometimes you guys find yourself in the same situation as that guy, then you can check out Destiny's Fighting Masterclass where you can become a better fighter. Check it out, link in description. And if you've been watching the background clip, you can see Lozix is using a bunch of high ground retakes, which I go over in my last video, which is my mechanics video. But anyways, this fight ends up with Lozix getting the wall right here and giving this guy an awareness check. And what this guy could have done better was to realize that he had those 2 back walls behind him, which he could have used to escape, when he panicked and started fighting Lozix instead. And in the majority of the ranked games I covered, the top mistakes that people usually make is panicking. But make sure you don't do that. If you ever get beamed from behind like this guy did, just make sure that you heal right away or you try to run away. And this guy didn't do any of those things, which caused him to die. If he just built up or made a couple boxes in metal, then he could have won this fight. But instead he chose to look straight at the orb as it was flying through just to get peace and die. This next fight shows you can't just rely on your movement, but you actually have to build in order to win more fights. A mistake I see most players make is not building enough and trying to get an angle that the other person just won't give you. If you rely on something like side jumps, then that could be a disadvantage because the other player can just read you easily and see if you're going to do it or not, just like in this clip right here. It's 7th zone, and there's only 5 other people left remaining. So that means this is pretty much a dead lobby, which means that Lozzies can win really easily. But the thing is, he still has to rotate across the map when he gets into this fight right here. And when he misses his pump shot right here, he places the floor and the cone so quickly that the other person doesn't even realize that it's not his. And when you look back on the Surf Witch's POV, he was way too focused on getting the other walls instead of realizing that the top piece wasn't even his. Now that it's top 5 and he basically got a refresh, he continues to fight, but that doesn't mean that you should do this too. Like I said before, you don't have to fight in early game or mid game just to rank up. And the most important thing you have to focus on during end game is rotation and having enough mats to actually get height. And as this fight gets dragged out, all those refresh mats are being wasted up, so that means he has to wait and actually not push anybody until he gets a refresh again. So even though he goes for an edit up here, he still has to play a little bit more passive because he's wasting up a lot of mats. And now, as you can see, he's down to metal. As he's on height, he spots a refresh loop from someone who just died. But when he orbs down, he sees that someone else came. But luckily for him, the other guy that just teleported right after him didn't even realize he was there. So to prevent something like this from happening to you, just make sure you scout out where you're teleporting before you go there. Now it's a top 3 situation, and being aggressive causes him to take so much damage. So now he's forced to stay on height for the rest of this game, which is a good thing, by the way. You always want to have height advantage during endgame, as you don't have to use as much mats as you do on low ground when you tarp. So at this point, he still has a lot of mats to maintain height, and he also is letting the other two fight. Obviously, since he's on height, he still has to pressure the person below him to make sure that they don't try to go for a high ground play. If you're in a situation where you're on height and you're pressuring for someone below, make sure that you don't get tunnel vision and focus on that person. Make sure you're aware of the other people that are around you, and make sure that you don't get stuck up on. Now he has to rotate, and it's fine that he gave up height here because he can just get it back so easily. Since he's on the middle layer now, he's a target for both people that are still alive. But it's fine because he still has a lot of mass to use up. He just hit that guy for 70 damage, and now he's on top of him, so that means he can easily get the side jump play here and try to retake height. And this would be the perfect opportunity, and he does it. If you're in a situation like this and you get height again, make sure that you're aware of the terrain behind you. As you can see, the storm is going back to the mountain, so that'll be useful later. While rotating, he accidentally overthrows his orb, and now he has to take an additional 20 damage. But he's on height with the terrain being slow, so that means he can easily win this game if he puts the other two people in a position where they have to fight each other first. Obviously, if you let them fight each other, they're going to waste each other's mats and ammo, and they're not going to have enough to fight you. But yeah, being on height when a circle is on a mountain is the best position you can be in to win a game. Because if the two people below you are fighting, then they're going to start to panic, because not only do they have to focus on fighting, they also have to rotate still. As for the person on height, you want to be shooting at both of them, or you can double team one. But at this point, the win is basically secure because the circle is going back up to the mountain. So now the other two people below him are in shambles, and he ends up winning this game because he was able to set himself up for ranking. If you guys have any questions for me regarding ranked or getting better in general, then please join my Discord server called Next Level. I'm there all the time, and I'm going to be helping you guys and giving you tips on how to get better. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to learn how to fight like Peter Bot, then check out this video right here.